Hey everyone, it's Final Round and my name is Jordan and we have game ones for round one of the WNBA playoffs. I hate that they have this for a Sunday slate competing with the NFL. They definitely should have scheduled that a little bit better. But it is what it is. So the lines did come out and I decided to take a look at them early because it seems like we do have all of them. So I have some plays that I like before they get bumped around. Some have been bumped around, but that's okay. You will see images that come up on the screen about right here. Those are from a data app called Outlier. There's a link in the description that'll give you a 7-day free trial for Outlier. So this first pick that I like is going to be from the Mercury and the Lynx game. It's going to be Courtney Williams over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -115. Now, a lot of people are going to be going with Napheesa Collier, and I think that's perfectly fine. She was in the MVP conversation this season. But turning the focus back to Courtney Williams, she's gone over in 2 of the most recent games versus the Mercury. She played 19 and 23 minutes in those first 2 games. Her minutes slowly went up as the season went on and kind of settled into a role where she's playing about 27 minutes a game. And this matchup is a really good one for guards, but things could be a little bit skewed when you take a look at these matchups and these position rankings for the WNBA. It's they just literally list them guard, forward, center. We don't get the 1 through 5 with point guard through center. So teams could have, 4 guards out there and 1 forward. Some teams don't even have a center. So things are a little bit skewed, but I'm going to go with the data that I see about this matchup. And it's a good matchup either way, whether they're a guard, forward, or center, but it looks really good for guards. So the Mercury are giving up the 3rd most points, 3rd most assists, and the most rebounds overall to teams in the past month. And when you look at the Mercury, you have to look at pretty much after the All-Star break. You can't look at their entire season rankings because Brittany Griner joined the team later. So that affects the bigger positions, obviously, with her defense. When you switch it to guards, they give up the most points to guards, most assists, and most rebounds to guards. And it's literally 67% of the points they give up go to guards, so 2/3, and that's the same with rebounds and assists, exactly 67%. And then, for example, for forwards, 30% of their rebounds go to forwards. So I'm not saying fade Napheesa Collier or anything like that. She has had good history against them with rebounding, but maybe the other forwards aren't getting involved as much, and that has shown with like Elena Smith. She hasn't been able to rebound very well against the Mercury. The guards have been doing very well. Again, back to Courtney Williams. She's gone over in 14 out of her last 17 games, so I feel like this line's a little bit low, probably going to get bumped up. And also, I filtered with her playing 25 minutes or more because, like I said earlier in the year, she was playing less minutes. And with playing 25 minutes or more, she's gone over in 79% of games, so almost 80% hit rate with the really good matchup here. And she's been very aggressive with scoring and passing the ball. She should get a lot of run on the court. So that's Courtney Williams over 19.5 PRA -115. If you guys could, please like the video. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? You could just you can put a number since this is going to be game 1, so you can just put a 1, and that helps get the video out there for more people to see. Thank you to anyone who does that. And also, if you'd like to try out a new sports book, check out Bet365. There will be a link in the description that'll take you there. $5. All you have to do is bet $5, and they give you $200 back in bonus bets. So definitely check them out. In the second pick, I think Caitlin Clark is great. And I saw some people say, man, the Fever really have an easy path to the finals. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if you watched the WNBA all season long. Just because the Liberty and the Aces are on the other side doesn't mean anything. She's got to go through 2 of the toughest defenses if she wants to make it to the finals. And that starts off with a Connecticut Sun. And I like her for under 14.5 rebounds plus assists at -115. Now, why am I staying away from her points? Because she's been on a tear lately. She can score very well. And I know Connecticut has shut her down with scoring, but that's just the one variable where she could potentially go off. And I want to leave that out and say I don't trust her teammates as much. So she has gone under in all games versus the Sun this year. The most recent game, she played 38 minutes. She had 10 rebounds plus assist. In the Sun, they're giving up the third least assist and the third least rebounds over the past month. And for the season, they're ranked first with least amount of assists, least amount of rebounds. And Outlier has a stat that she has gone under in 14 out of her last 18 games versus top 5 defenses for assists. So we're talking about the Connecticut Sun, the Aces, Seattle, Minnesota, and the Liberty. She's struggled versus all of them. And with the Connecticut Sun, with the pressure, I can see this being another one of those games where she does get a lot of turnovers. Kind of like how she went from college to the WNBA, the physicality kind of turned up a little bit, and she was turning the ball over all over the place. I know she still does that, but now the physicality is going to bump up to another level, and she's playing against the toughest defense or the second toughest defense. You could debate between them and Minnesota. And they're definitely not going to make it easy on her. They have very good defensive guards. Maybe not Marina Mabrey. That's where I feel like she could exploit a weakness and she could score against Mabrey. But overall, this team is good defensively. That's under 14.5 rebounds plus assists, a -115 for Caitlin Clark. Now, a weird one, sticking with that game. So the past few games I watched Caitlin Clark play against the Sun, they blitzed her. And if you don't know what that is with basketball, it's when as soon as they pass the half court line, they send a double team over, and it's like they did with it's like the Minnesota Timberwolves did with Luka Doncic, and he made the pass to the middle of the floor, and a guy like Derek Lively was making passes and finding the open man after he caught it at the top of the key. So I have a feeling this is going to be the same strategy that they use against Caitlin Clark. They're going to bring over the double team, and she always passes it over to Aaliyah Boston. So I like Aaliyah Boston over 3.5 assists at +120. This came out at 2.5 assists, and it already got bumped up. It was at +140, and it's already going down to +120. Now, with these plus money plays, when I put them in the video, I see people use them on Prizepicks and stuff like that, where the payout stays fixed. It stays the same. Do not use a plus money play like this on Prizepicks. Either straight bet it or use it where you get like a dynamic payout where it gives you that extra boost because you're using the plus money play. So Lee Boston, in the last 2 games that she played against the Sun, she killed this line because they were blitzing Caitlin Clark. She was giving it over to Aaliyah Boston, and they weren't letting Aaliyah Boston just go over and score. They were bringing over their bigs who are very good defensively, and she had to make the decision to find her teammates, and she actually did a pretty good job at it. For +120, I don't mind this play. She's going to get the ball at the top of the key, top of the three-point line. She's going to drive it, and she's got to find Lexi Holt in the corner, Kelsey Mitchell in the corner. A lot of her teammates sitting there out the three-point line as the defense gets sucked in. She's got to make that play, not Caitlin Clark, who's a better passer. That's probably going to be their game plan because it's what it was previously. And then this fourth pick on the other side of things. I know I'm sticking to this game, but I feel like the most points are going to be scored in this game just because it's Fever. They play at a fast pace. It can be a lot of turnovers, I feel like, because of the defense from the Sun. And that brings me to Dejanay Carrington, over 17.5 points plus rebounds at -122. Now, it's safe to say Dejanay Carrington does not like Caitlin Clark very much. There's a lot of back and forth whenever they play each other, and it shows with her stats. She has gone over this line in every single game that she has played against the Fever and Caitlin Clark, and she would love nothing more than to score. And she's a very good rebounder too. That's why I'm throwing this in here. But the Fever are giving up the second most points overall to teams in the past month. Sun do play at a very slow pace, so it's a conflicting styles. But Dejanay Carrington was able to force some turnovers single-handedly against Caitlin Clark last game, and she was able to get some wide open layups. One of them, she kind of hilariously just completely missed the wide open layup on a fast break, but hopefully that doesn't happen here if she gets one on a fast break. So I do like for Dejanay Carrington for her minutes to still be high because of her defensive presence. I know Marina Mabrey is getting a ton of minutes, but there have been some games where they need to lock down and play defense, and Marina Mabrey's minutes have been a little bit lower, and then when they need the offense, she stays out there longer. So Dejanay Carrington is probably going to be the one that's going to be out there the longest as a guard. So I do like her to get points and get rebounds. Before I get into this last one, I want to shout out my partners. If you'd like to get away from Prizepicks, Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, and ChalkBoard, use promo code FINAROUND11 on any of these. They'll match your first deposit, and Underdog will do it up to $1,000 right now because we're getting into the NFL season. So there's links in the description, and I'll take you there with the promo code. Thank you to anyone who uses those. So this fifth pick, I was looking around at the Liberty game, and I actually looked at their series last year. I wanted to see who started off hot last year in game one, and I was hoping it was going to be Breanna Stewart, so I could feel more confident about her because her numbers they're off and on, especially against Atlanta. But it was actually Sabrina Ionescu that went off and made a ton of threes. And then that made me look at Atlanta and their threes, and they actually gave up the fourth highest 3-point percentage over the past month. And, you know, Sabrina Ionescu, I don't mind her 3-point play, but I also looked over at Betnijah Hamilton, and I like the payout for her 3-pointers made. I think it's worth a shot for a single bet. So Betnijah Hamilton, over 1.5 3-pointers made. This is plus 162. So she needs to make 2 of them. She was a big part of their run to the finals last year. She's gone over in every single game versus Atlanta this season. She played in that last game of the season where, you know, they didn't really care as much, and she went 3 for 3. And she has gone over in 7 out of the last 9 games this season versus bottom 5 teams that give up 3-pointers. She's shooting 41% on the season, and she shoots around 4 a game, and that's during the regular season. I hope she gets more opportunities here, but for plus 162, if you can get that payout for her to just knock down 2 of them, I think it's a pretty solid bet. She's hit it 55% of the time for the last 20 games. So it's Betnijah Hamilton, over 1.5 3-pointers made. Definitely not one you want to put in on like your Prizepick slip. I'd probably favor Ionescu more for that. So if you'd like to discuss lines further, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. You can hop on in there, discuss football, discuss WNBA, all that good stuff. And it was a fun WNBA season, and let's have a fun WNBA playoffs. The playoffs are actually going to be pretty short, so let's enjoy it while it lasts, and hopefully NBA gets off to a hot start once we get there. So God bless you all. It's Final Round. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.